I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And a happy Sunday fun day to everybody out there. Scott Duff here along with Ellen Miller.
Good morning,
Good
Scott.
morning. Dun, dun, dun. Oh. We thought spooky season was over.
Yeah, 48 hours.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is our final show before the election.
Yep.
So we decided we're going to celebrate Festivus a little bit early and with the airing of grievances. So the phone lines are open and we want to hear from you, your thoughts, resources that you'd like to share, final arguments, or if you just want to get something off your chest. Please give us a call, 773-763-9278. That number again is 773-763-9278. It's herg. Those are all the sounds that I've been making right now. But we also have a fabulous show today lined up. You know, the timing couldn't be more perfect for the triumphant return of legendary comedian, author, podcaster Judy Gold.
Hey, I love Judy. I can't wait to have her on.
It's Judy's show. Every time it's such an old joke, and it's one that has lived inside every time we speak with her.
Yep.
It's Judy's show. She's coming. She's performing this week. She's coming up November 8th through the 10th at the Venus Mercury Theater. She's going to be joining us in the second hour. And does the thought of spending election night alone make you feel a little anxious? Well, never fear. The WCPT Election Watch Party is here.
Yes,
or rather, it will be at the Bricklayers Union Hall in Elmhurst from 2 to 10 on Tuesday. And our good buddy, one of the hosts of the event, Ken Mejia Beal, is going to be in studio. And as I said, we want to hear from you today. How are you doing? Have you voted? What's going on? Have you encountered long lines? What's your story? What's your plan to vote? Please give us a call at 773-763-9278. That number again is 773-763-9278. And you know what?
What?
You can also follow us on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's always good. Mm-hmm. Follow us on Facebook at Out Chicago Radio.
You can do that.
We're there. Give us a click and like and a share and everything. But if you want to listen live at 8:20 a.m. or on TuneIn or on the Heartland Signal website, or you can watch live video stream on Facebook or X. You can also tell Alexa to play WCPT from TuneIn. Look at all that. Mm-hmm. And you can make sure that you follow WCPT and Heartland Signals on all the socials. Facebook and Instagram, X, TikTok.
We're there.
Threads.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. We are everywhere. Yeah. How are you doing, Ellen Miller? Did you have a good Halloween? Let's just start there.
Let's start with happy thoughts. Positive happy thoughts.
Let's start with positive.
We had a great Halloween. It was a little chilly, but we had our friends over that live in a high rise that don't get any kids. This is our third year. I make my famous chicken mole or turkey mole chili.
Oh, all right. Come on.
And cornbread. And then we sit on the porch with a couple of plugged in. Well, I blew a fuse with one of the heaters.
Oh, good.
But I figured that out. And we had a heater, and we had Snuggies on, and every kind of, because when you're just sitting out there with the wind, it's a little chilly.
Oh, I know. We were fire pitting it.
Well,
so,
hard on the front porch. But yours is a different setup.
Ours is mobile.
Yours is mobile.
Ours is mobile.
But we had about 150 kids.
All right.
A constant stream starting around 5 o'clock, just till almost 8. Had to borrow some candy from one of the neighbors. We ran out of stuff.
It happens.
I know.
I told you, especially like on some of those, there are a couple streets that are like,
There's some really crazy streets. I mean, I know people that say they go to 500 or 1,000 pieces of candy.
Friends of mine, when they moved in to like the Lakewood Balmoral district, I've had a couple friends who've lived over there.
Yeah.
Day one, when you move in, the little neighborhood association is like, welcome. Just so you know, on Halloween, you need 2,500 pieces of candy.
That is, I like I think 100 to 150 is kind of perfect.
Yeah. It's great. You get your fix of all the kiddos.
You get your fix.
They're done, and then they're not being kooky pants anymore.
And the parents all, because, now where the parents are of an age where they did a lot of Halloweening, because Halloween has really in the last 30 years just become, an adult. They always were parties, but it's even crazier, I think, now. It's 2 weekends. The weekend before Halloween and the week after, there were parties. There were people dressed up all the time. Mm-hmm. But the parents dress up
I love it.
And it's just, and they're walking around, and our block is kind of a destination block.
Yeah.
The next block, I met a woman yesterday, and she just moved into the neighborhood, and she said, we were all decorated. Nobody, I go, you're kidding. They didn't cross the street.
They didn't cross the street?
But that was a lot of fun.
Did you see any great costumes, especially like families?
I do, but
you can't say it.
I was having a cannabis cocktail.
Oh,
so
all right. There we go. So maybe you just might have.
It's Halloween.
It's Halloween.
I saw some families dressed up and you know what? Here's the thing. I don't have kids. I'm not as up to date on what some of these costumes even are. Because, if you don't have kids that are watching kids' cartoons and kids' movies.
There were some kids, yes. And stuff you're like, that's great.
But I recognize, the Harry Potters and there was a Elmo. There was an Elmo family.
Was it an emo Elmo? That's what I want. I want emo Elmo.
I'll tell you, Emo Phillips. Somebody was dressed up as Emo Phillips. No, what I didn't see were political costumes. In my day, I was like went as George Bush as a George the First Bush, George H. Bush. I went as him as a bag man because I said that's where he's going to be. He's going to, I was like a hobo kind of a thing.
Oh, okay.
Because it was like a night or two before the election when Clinton won. Mm-hmm. But it was just a lovely group of people and lots of parents with their cocktails. And a lot of them had lots of big costumes that were very warm, so they definitely took heed of what the weather could be and dressed appropriately. But my Halloween was great. And
lovely,
then,
lovely.
Saw the night before, we went to Second City and saw the new show, Best Kept Secret, Tell Everyone.
Fabulous.
And our friend Carissa Barreca, who we've had on the show, was the director. She did a fabulous job. Hit on lots of women issues, lots of political jabs, just what you need, just what you want. Humor, yet making points.
Was it the main stage or
it's
ETC?
ETC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they asked everybody on your table, write a secret and put it in one of the containers they had on the stage before the show. And I'm not going to say what my secret was, but it was one of the ones that was mentioned on stage.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Some of them were crazy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my God.
Some people decided this is anonymity.
I'm having an affair. Stuff
wow.
Like that. I was like, okay.
All right.
Always great. I highly recommend. You know what? Especially in these days that we're living in, who knows what's going to happen Tuesday. I am cautiously optimistic. I guess Amy Klobuchar said she's nauseously optimistic.
Nauseously optimistic. That tracks.
We can get into that. But I do have to say that I had a wonderful night last night. Kathy and I and our dear friend Natalie West went to see Stevie Wonder at the United Center sing your song,
and I will never see
as
him.
we fix our nation's broken heart. That's the name of the tour. He went to a lot of swing states, a lot of swing, cities in swing states, and ended in one of his all-time favorite cities, Chicago. He recorded his first. Fingertips was his first recording, and he did it at the Regal Theater on the South Side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he has he just always goes on about Chicago. It's just one of his favorite places.
Because he's a man of taste.
He's a man of taste and music.
Yes.
This date was added. A lot of people went to the Milwaukee show a week or so ago, 10 days ago, and then they added this show at the end. So,
and he played forever is what it sounded like.
It started at, it was a showtime of 8. He actually went on at 8:30 and he played till 11:30.
Straight through, like no intermission or anything?
No intermission, but he did have this woman named, I can't remember.
She was so good.
Chalet, her name was, I think. But she was good, but, the momentum. She did like a 20-minute singing, like a little, here it was a little Whitney Houston.
Like Thing in the Middle?
Thing in the Middle.
Yeah.
He said he needed to rest his voice, and he's not ancient or anything, but he is all getting up there.
How old is he?
He's like 71 or something.
Really? I thought he was older than that.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
He started, as a 15-year-old.
He's like 15-year-old. Yeah. Little Stevie Wonder.
But man, Scott, the love. His message: joy over anger, kindness over recrimination, and peace over war. A couple times he said, Kamala, Kamala. People singing along. It encouraged people to sing. As opposed to last Sunday when I saw Judy Collins at the Athenaeum Theater. This is just a little public service announcement, folks, and I think most of our listeners, they're very cool. They understand, they're experienced. When you are seeing Judy Collins
Yeah.
at the Athenaeum Theater, where you can hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
She's 85.
Yeah.
With a string quartet and a pianist. And she does two of her most iconic songs, which are Both Sides Now and Send in the Clowns. You do not sing along.
No, you don't.
You do not sing along. The
no,
woman in
sing.
back of us, right in back of us. Isn't it rich? I'm like, I turned, I just gave a look, and
she's like, I'm going to sing along.
Singing along. I mean, it's not Stevie Wonder telling you to sing along or Joni Mitchell telling you to sing along.
It's Judy Collins.
Unless the artist tells you to sing along, you do not sing along. You can mouth the words if that helps you feel better. Now, I love to sing, but I'm not going to sing along to Both Sides Now in a quiet theater.
No, it's a very quiet. That's an intimate, slow song.
That was last Sunday.
I would think.
Anyway, so but Stevie Wonder, if you get, this is the end of this tour. Hopefully he'll tour again.
I just checked. He's 74.
He's 74. Okay,
Yeah,
He's a little older than I thought.
But hey,
but he looks great. He's in great voice.
Of course he is. He's Stevie Wonder.
Just iconic. Just fantastic. Don't miss the chance to see him. I heard he did a show in Grand Rapids, and someone told me that was half full. I find it hard to believe, but I don't know. Bland Rapids, I guess we're going to have to call it.
Wow. All right. Come on now.
Come on.
Look at that with the nicknames there. Bland Rapids going on.
Well, if they don't go see Stevie, they're bland.
That's very true.
So anyway, that's my update. How was your lovely week?
My week.
Well, it wasn't all lovely.
It was not all lovely. It was a very week. Yeah.
You lost a friend.
I found out on Halloween that a friend of mine passed away.
So sorry.
Which was it was out of the blue, and yeah, it was a big hit. It's been a big hit. My friend Penny passed away, and she was one of these people. It's weird to talk about in the past tense. As somebody who, there is a line from, this is how gay in theater I am. So there's a line from Mary Zimmerman's play, one of her first shows that kind of got her start, and for Looking Glass Theater Company, was Arabian Nights. Did you ever see Arabian Nights?
I did not. No.
Oh my gosh, it was one of the most magical things, and I saw it. Oh gosh, like 30 years ago, I remember. And there's this one line in the play that has resonated with me so much. Like it has affected me just like as my personal life. It affected me in my professional life. It was part of my educational mission statement. But there is a line in Mary Zimmerman's adaptation of Arabian Nights where one character named Sympathy the Learned, who when I saw it is played by Laura Eason, she's an incredible actor. She's also a writer. She wrote for like House of Cards, and she's a playwright. Now she's tremendously successful. And I think of her every time often because of this, but they ask this character who's like, she's a woman and she's a scholar and she's being tested by these men. And one of the questions that they ask her is, what is the chief purpose of life? And her response is to cultivate enthusiasm. And I think that is one of the most wonderful things that people can do. I remember just being like, when I was a kid, my summers in college, I was working at a theater camp at the JCC in St. Louis. And I remember just like looking at these like 9 and 10-year-olds going, I'm like, gosh, I just want to go through life with the enthusiasm of a child, and it's great. And that's what Penny did. Penny cultivated enthusiasm wherever she went. She burned bright. She was never afraid to try new things. She was never afraid of looking goofy. She loved food. She had a servant's heart. She really did. She was always looking out for other people. And like, when my mom passed away, if you're from Memphis, there's this, Poncho's cheese dip. Poncho's cheese dip is the best thing on the planet. Okay. And my mom passed away, and she sent me 4 containers. She sent me 4 things, that sort of thing. She loved animals dearly. She was like a big advocate for the Tupelo Animal Shelter in Tupelo, Mississippi, which is not too far from Memphis. And she would foster dogs. She had several, like special needs dogs. She had one, Paula Jean. Paula Jean, she didn't have a leg, and she was, another dog like didn't have eyes, and they all had health issues, and she would just take them in and just hold and take care of them and prosper. So I found out that she had passed away on Halloween, which was kind of, I mean, it's sad, of course, but the next day is Dia de los Muertos this weekend, the 1st and the 2nd. So, and Jerry and I, for the entire time that we've been together for all 20 some years, we build an ofrenda to remember people that we have lost. And it is one of my most favorite evenings of the year because it really is intentional in terms of like you're literally holding pictures of people that have gone, and you just take moments and you can it brings a smile to your face, a tear to your eye. It just makes you just stop and just remember, the wonderful times that you've had in the far too brief time that we've shared with our loved ones who have passed. So it was one of those moments. It's a
wonderful tradition.
Yeah, it was great, and and it was a beautiful. I'll show you a picture of my friend.
I saw it. I now want to ask you a few things. I saw one of those smudge. Looks like a sage. A
sage smudge stick.
What was that one for?
Well, that's just
to part of it
for some good
and you've talked about the cocktail weenie. Tell us about that.
The Vienna Franks are for someone in Jerry's family.
Oh, someone in Jerry's family. Yes. Okay, and you bring out that same can.
We bring out that same can. This year, I grabbed it. I'm like, Jerry, we need to get a new can. He's like, but why? I'm like, it expired last year. When they come, they weren't there. We need to give them not expired food.
No, they don't. Their stomachs are different after.
I guess
they can handle expired food. That's one of the joys of being gone.
Yes.
In the afterlife.
So we have our ofrenda is filled.
I closed up the picture and was looking at some of the things you had on there.
There's marigolds. We left out a shot of whiskey. We asked the neighbors for some smokes and put some cigarettes out.
I saw a picture of your mom and her nurses.
My mom and her nursing.
That was beautiful.
There,
that was a really
my
sweet
childhood
picture.
dog was there. We actually have Buster Dog. His ashes go up on there.
Of course.
But it's one of those it is one of those traditions that really, I guess, just help grounds me and just reminds me of who I am and where I came from, because we all didn't do this alone. We are here because of the people who raised us, the people who we have encountered. And I really do believe that, it's good to stop and just to give thanks for folks that have helped shape who we are.
Yeah. My dad was born a couple days before Halloween, October 29th. And Halloween was always special in our house because it was also Dad's birthday. So we'd carve pumpkins on his birthday a couple days before, and he loved the holiday. He was a big holiday guy. And he was a lieutenant colonel, Army, World War II vet, but he was a softie when it came to traditions and holidays, and he would have been 110 years old.
Holy smokes!
On Tuesday, so kind of have my own kind of I always have some moments with thinking about my dad and posting a couple of pictures of him, and that's, as we say in the Greek tradition, may his memory be eternal, or may their memory be eternal, and that's really what it's about.
I highly encourage. One of my biggest fears is that the whole idea of like appropriation. I'm not claiming that this tradition is my own.
Right.
It is just something that I appreciate, and we've made it our own. But I think. I don't know. I've noticed more of my friends have been doing it. So next year, everybody, I highly recommend, just making a space. We had a giant table that we just filled with marigolds and sugar skulls and pumpkins and photos of loved ones and objects that were theirs. Like I had, my grandfather's straight razor and some cufflinks that he had. We had to put up some bananas and a cup of Sanka.
Bananas. You can't leave those up too long.
No, you got bananas.
Do you take everything down, or do you just leave it up for a few days?
I think we'll take it down today. Yeah, but it was kind of bittersweet to have that moment. Even we had big plans for Halloween. Jerry muscled through and he's like, I'm carving a pumpkin. I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to try to order pizza. Have you ever tried to order pizza on Halloween?
We used to. Now that's why I make chili in the Instant Pot instead.
It is impossible. Yeah. But the next day for Day of the Dead, I too made chili. And I made my mom's signature Neiman Marcus dip.
Perfect.
And we had some friends over, and we had lit up the ofrenda, and we had a fire pit outside, and just were with each other. So hug everybody close. But also on Halloween Day, we on November 1st we voted. So we went out and voted, and we also got our COVID shots and our flu shots. So just a reminder to make sure that you're doing all of that stuff.
How were the voting lines?
It was long.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
It was great. We will definitely talk about that.
Yep.
But I just want to remind everybody out there that early voting sites are open until tomorrow, and then you'll have to go and check to find your regular polling place for Election Day on the 5th. And here's something that I loved. It is a fabulous resource for information on the judges. There are, I believe, 75 judges, and if you go to injusticewatch.org, that's injusticewatch.org. All of the judges are listed with each of their backgrounds, legal experience, political connections, conduct and controversies, as well as recommendations from bar associations. And that I found very, very excellent.
And we use, I'm texting Kathy right now because we used one. It's different than that one, but the one we use, and maybe yours has it too, has the LGBTQ.
It has this one, injusticewatch.org.
Yeah.
They have the LGBTQ, the women's, the Asians, the Arabs, the Hispanic, has all of the Cook Counties, Illinois State Bar, like all of the bar associations. There are about 8 of them that are listed.
The one we use is judges.org. That's another good one too.
Another good one
Judges.org.
And you can bring your phone in. I just sat there and just scrolled through, and some of them
we printed it out. It took a while.
Yeah, it does take a while. But because I know the judges are always ones where people are like, I don't know. It's a great resource, and hopefully you can be a little bit more informed when you're making these choices. We have flown past a break on this last show before the election, so we should probably take a break. But before we do that, this part about Chicago is brought to you by Team Hochberg. If you are purchasing a new home or refinancing your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. After 30 long and excruciating months, Fed Chairman Powell lowered interest rates 0.5 point. Yeah, you heard me. Fed Chairman Powell finally cut rates 0.5 point, which means that rates on credit cards, cars, and home equity loans are lower. Most importantly, mortgage rates have dropped to their lowest level since last February. 60% of Team Hochberg's competitors are back in the mall spinning pretzels and folding underpants. He's always wanting them to fold underpants. I like folding underpants. I like underpants. Anyway, but Team Hochberg weathered the storm and is ready to help you, your friends, family, coworkers, and neighbors reduce your interest rate and monthly payments. If your interest rate is above 6.5%, call Team Hochberg now. Not when you get home, not tomorrow, not next week, maybe while you're folding underpants. Call now for a complimentary mortgage review, 855-563-2843, or visit 56david.com. The number again is 855-563-2843, or visit 56david.com. Lower.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are talking about the upcoming election. Are you ready? We want to hear from you, so give us a call, 773-763-9278. We're going to take a break so you can get to your phone and give us a call. All right, you're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT, Heartland Signal.
Welcome back. I'm writer and activist Stacey Anshin. You are listening to Out Chicago on WCPT 820.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, rolling along.
Quick correction on the one that I was talking about. There's vote for judges, one word, .org. Vote for judges. That's another one.
There we are. Yeah.
So
voteforjudges.org and Injustice. Oh gosh, what was it? Injustice Watch.
It was...
Oh, where did I put it? There it is. InjusticeWatch.org.
InjusticeWatch.org.
Yes, for the judges specifically. Have you already gone and voted?
So we voted on Tuesday. We go to the same place, which is the Chicago Public Library on Fullerton and Racine.
Okay,
And we walked in, and there was a line that I've never seen before. And I asked the security guard, I said, let me go out of line and find out, how long she thinks this line is and if there's a better time to come back. She goes, no, there's no better time.
Yeah, no, stay.
She said, it's going to be about an hour and a half. I'm like, okay. We waited in line. It was an hour and 25 minutes.
Okay.
But the
drop in the bucket.
Yeah, drop in the bucket. So we did our thing. Proud to do it. It's good to go with somebody or have some reading material. 2 days later on Thursday, I was driving by the library on the way to my workout. I work out at Lakeshore, which is right nearby. The line was all the way out the door, down Fullerton and turning right on Racine. And you know what? I literally started crying.
Yeah.
I literally teared up. I just saw all these people. I could cry just thinking about it right now. All these people. And I looked at that line knowing that I was in that line that was 10 times shorter a couple days earlier. That was an hour and a half. These people are going to be up for a 3-hour wait in order to exercise their right to vote.
Yep.
And it really got to me.
Yeah. It's been great.
And you know, it's been great. And I'm cautiously optimistic, Scott, because the early voting is huge everywhere. Now, they say there's more Republicans that are coming out than they have in the past. Traditionally, early voting did seem to favor
skew Democrats.
Yes. I'm sure that it's more Republicans, but I still believe when I look at those lines, when they show them on TV, and I see people, minorities, and lots of women in line, I'm thinking, I know why they're so adamant about waiting in line for so long. Yeah. Because they are here to protect democracy. Yeah. They are not going to let anything stand in their way. So I know there's, you know, I go through phase, and it's all, right now there's not much we can do. We voted. We're 48 hours away. We just got to hang out and try and soothe our fears. I think Kamala's going to win. I'm hoping she wins in numbers that were never predicted, because if this election is about the women, the youth, and the Hispanics. They're the ones that are going to put this election across, bring it around for Kamala. The women in this country, the youth, and the Hispanics were already leaning towards Harris after what happened on Sunday. At that horrible, because everybody I know that's talking to people, whether they're of Puerto Rican descent or Mexicans or people from islands or any kind of South America or Central America, they are mad and they don't forget. Yeah. They don't forget. This is reminding them of the paper towel throwing that he did. They also remember that he cut funding to them after that hurricane. Oh, yeah. And this is just another big reminder as they're getting ready to vote or have voted that he is not in their best interest. So... I too, when we voted, there was a much longer line than I've ever seen for early voting, especially or voting even on election day. It was a very long line. It was, I saw a lot of our neighbors were there, and it was really great. So make sure that you have a plan to get out and vote. Allow time. Don't get discouraged. It's going to take time. It's going to take some time. But you feel good. You feel good. There's nothing better. Yeah. And here we are. I mean, we are at the final 2 days of the campaign, and we're getting some closing arguments, two very different closing arguments from Vice President Harris and from Ding Dong. They could not be more different, as you were saying last Sunday. Ding Dong had that weird throwback, little Nazi-ish throwback to 1939,
Nazi rally that kind of happened, filled with racism and misogyny and all that good stuff, which we know, which is great. And Kamala Harris could not be different. She's speaking about the promise of America. Here we've got a little clip, just a little bit, just to remind you of this is what Kamala Harris envisions for our country.
I've lived the promise of America, and I see the promise of America in all of you. In all of you. I see it in the young people who are voting for the first time, who are determined to live free from gun violence and to protect our planet and to shape the world they inherit. I see it in the women who refuse to accept a future without reproductive freedom, and the men who support them. I see it in Republicans who have never voted for a Democrat before, but have put the Constitution of the United States over party.
I mean,
I hope they're watching. We were all watching it. Scott, the whole world is watching. We have a choice of love, inclusivity, and positivity versus division, hatred, and fear.
Yeah.
And what kind of country, what kind of world do you want to live in? Do you want your children and grandchildren to live in? Division, hatred, and fear? Or love, inclusivity, and positivity? To me, if you really take a look, it's a very obvious choice.
Oh, 100%. And just looking at their policies and everything. I mean, you have Kamala Harris, who believes that a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yep.
She believes that women should be in charge of their own bodies and their own health care. She plans to build affordable housing and has a plan to help first-time home buyers achieve their dreams. She believes in a secure border and sensible gun laws, and she wants us all to thrive and be included in democracy.
Yeah.
How great is that?
Yeah. What's wrong with that? Nothing.
Meanwhile, you have Ding Dong, who kicked off the week with that racist and misogynistic rally at Madison Square Garden. He's been babbling across battleground states while wearing an orange safety vest.
God.
He wants to create, at the very least, an oligarchy, and at the very worst, an autocracy. He is the embodiment of white grievance, and he does not care about people. He doesn't care about you. He just does not care about you.
Nope.
He plans to have an anti-vaxxer be in charge of the healthcare of this country. He plans to have a billionaire take the economy and tank it in order to rebuild it from the ashes, or some weird like that. He does not respect women. He's going to protect women whether they like it or not.
that was
what
very rich.
The hell is going on? He does not respect queer folks. Nope. He has demonized transgendered folks. He does not respect anyone who opposes his view and whatever concepts of plans that he has. And he's promised to be a dictator on day one. He wants to turn the Department of Justice against the American people, and we should believe him. Yes. We should believe him.
We should believe him. If people show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. As Jimmy Kimmel put it so aptly the other day, doesn't he know that garbage rides in the back of the truck, not the front of the truck?
Well, he couldn't even get in the truck. I think he had trouble grabbing onto the door.
I think the garbage collector, he did that whole rally with that vest on, one of his rallies. I mean,
because it's some weird sort of like he had to keep it on. Like it was very strange. I don't get it.
How about the motions he was making with his hand and mouth over the microphone stand? I mean,
again,
what kind? You want this man to be the leader of the free world? I mean, seriously, people.
I don't want to talk about him. I'd rather talk about Kamala. I'd rather talk about her and talk about her policies and her vision for America. We all know dumb. I'm you better have your finger on the dump button there, Devin, because like the expletives are about ready to fly out of my mouth. Mm-hmm. This man, like we all know, he does stupid things and he says stupid stuff and he does nothing but spew hate. He encourages violence. He is a dum-dum. He is just a dummy. And we know that's going to happen. We know what he does, and we know that every day it's something that we can like focus on him. I don't want to focus on him. I want to focus on her. But I do also want to remind everybody that it is okay to panic. That it is okay to have a sense of urgency. And the reason I'm saying this is because last month I was a part of Right Club Chicago, which is a live lit show that takes place the third Tuesday of every month at G-Man Tavern. Tanya Richard and I were actually on it. Oddly enough, we hosted the show afterwards. It's great. If you haven't gone, you should definitely go check it out.
I was there. It was a great night.
Yes, Ellen was there. And by the way, I still can't believe that was the first time you ever met. You and Tanya ever met. I feel like I know her, but we're looking at each other. I don't think we've ever met. Yeah, it was great. Oh, poop. Is it okay to fly pat? No. Yeah, okay. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
At that show, basically what they do is Right Club, they ask two writers, they give you opposite sides of a coin, basically. I was trick versus treat. Then you have zombies versus ghosts. And the two writer combatants had calm versus panic. And Shariba Rivers, who is a Chicago-based actor and recent 3 Arts Award recipient, she performed the best call to action with her piece on panic. Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to play that for you. We're going to play that piece in her entirety. Words, there have been expletives that have been bleeped out, But if you find that that's just too sensitive, just for being suggestive, just know you have been warned. But this is, here's Shariba Rivers, a performance from Right Club Chicago, Panic.
When I was growing up, we girls were told that if we were ever in the unfortunate situation of being attacked, assaulted, raped by a man, that we should not yell rape. We should yell fire instead, because it would cause panic and people would react. If I had more time, I'd let you sit with that for a minute. But that little piece of advice said to me that a woman being assaulted falls on deaf ears. So in order for her to be heard, she had to induce panic in others so that they would sit up and pay attention and maybe act. And as up as that is, panic is, in fact, what we have to do to make people sit up and listen and act. Panic is what moves us to protest and riot. Dr. King said, a riot is the language of the unheard. It is the language of people tired of being oppressed, mocked, belittled, stripped of their rights, intimidated. It is the language of a people who realize that yelling anything other than fire won't get them heard. So they yell fire, they riot, and create panic because I said no is not enough. Because mama, I want my mama is not enough. Because I can't breathe is not enough. It's the unheard who panic when they realize, oh, they mean to keep me enslaved, ignorant, underrepresented, underpaid, servile, and submissive. It's the panicked, voiceless ones of us who travel under cloak of night to lead people to freedom, to lead rebellions, to set figurative and literal fires under people because can you hear me now? It's those of us who dare to walk to the beat of our own rainbow-colored drum, who panic when a stone wall has been placed in front of us to block our brilliance and tell us our beauty is bad. So we throw the first brick and bring that wall to the ground. Panic crawls up to our throat so much so that we can't breathe. So we take to the streets against this new era of Jim Crow and lynching black people for being black people. It was panic that inspired those of us around the world brave enough to put pink on our heads as the new fashion trend. Can you hear us now? Panic inspires us to act. Don't fall for the things they're giving us to lull us into quiet submission. Keep calm. I'm a fill in the blank. When they go low, we go high. Commercials with easy buttons. Oh, that was simple. The re-emergence of namaste and kumbaya. Sisters holding hands in peace, taking deep lion's breaths of ash and soot because the world is burning and so are our books. They should be yelling fire. So instead of keep calm, keep kicking ass. Malcolm X said, by any means necessary. And I know reductionists will say that's why MLK is my favorite, because he was nonviolent and Malcolm X just wanted to incite violence. And to that, I would say you clearly don't know your Malcolm X or your MLK, so do your homework. But I would also say yes, and because I'm an actor, Malcolm X did want to incite violence if that's what it took. And he wanted to make sure that our freedom was secured, not only physically, but also economically, academically, politically, and spiritually. So if you can't hear us when we march peacefully to Washington, if you can't hear us when we raise a silent black fist or when we take a knee, if you can't hear us when we paint rainbows or sport a pink hat, then maybe you'll hear us when we panic. I say when they go low, we get the shovel because we got work to do. Our children are being assaulted physically, intellectually, and spiritually. Our freedoms are being attacked, and the best he who shall remain nameless has to offer in a formal presidential debate is, I heard she puts out, or whatever, because you know his concept of a plan was not fully fleshed out. And her response was, you know what her response was not? Her response was not, you owe money to a porn star who you were while your wife was pregnant, you grimy, narcissistic piece of criminal. That's what her response was not. Her response was not, you are a traitor who instigated an insurrection in your own country. Check that. January 6th. An insurrection. People panicking because they thought their votes weren't being counted and they weren't being heard. And the calm version of us sat and shook our heads in disbelief while we watched the news and penned our most patriotic social media post with an overwhelming amount of, this is not who we are. Yeah, okay. I'm wondering if you hear them now. The racist jeers, the homophobic threats, the misogynistic taunts. Do you hear them now? No more easy button. Full-size angry panic button. So let's take our marching orders from Macy Gray. Get up, get out, and do something, because your oppressor will never hand you the keys to your freedom. From Dylan Thomas, do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Our world's light is dimming. This is not the time to remain calm. From Prince, and if the elevator tries to bring you down, go crazy, punch a higher floor, or punch a racist in the mouth. And from Leslie Gore, you don't own me. I'm not just one of your many toys. This is my body. Keep your commentary, your judgment, your religion in your hands to yourself. Namaste? Nah, I'm gonna stay over here on high alert. Maybe we need Harriet Tubman's gun to our head, Marsha P. Johnson's brick through a window. We need the likes of Alicia Garza, Patrice Cullors, and Opal Tometi to remind us of who and what matters. We need Tarana Burke to shout, we too are tired of living in an abusive relationship with this country that boasts democracy, freedom, equality, and justice for all, only to give them to a select few. If this is not who we are, it's to ever be true in this country. We need to pull the fire alarm now. It's time to panic and vote like your life depends on it, because so many of our lives do.
And that was Shariba Rivers.
I just loved that.
Her performance
so much.
from Right
I loved
Club
it
Chicago.
Then. I'm glad we shared it now.
Me too. It's time to panic, and it's also time to take a little bit of a break.
And
so
callers, hold on.
Callers, hold on. We will get to you on the call on the other side of this break. Stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
Hey, this is Mark Patton, and I'm from Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street, and you're listening to Out Chicago.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller. We're rolling along. If you are just joining us, unfortunately, you just missed a beautiful performance by Shariba Rivers from Right Club Chicago. It was entitled Panic. Just wanted to let you know, if you want to check out Right Club Chicago, they're performed the third Thursday of every month at G-Man Tavern. Find them on social media. It's great. Same
Really
thing with
good.
social with Shariba Rivers. But if you did miss that last bit, you do have a chance to hear it again, because Out Chicago has its own very own podcast. Actually, two. Out Chicago full episodes and Out Chicago featured interviews. All you have to do is search for Out Chicago wherever you get your podcasts, or get the podcast links on our show page by visiting heartlandsignal.com/out-chicago. On the show page, you'll also find our recent interviews with Randy Rainbow, Claiborne Elder, Rodrigo Hangleitan, and with more to come. And again, go to heartlandsignal.com/out-chicago. And if you've been listening to the podcast version of our show on the WCPT 820 AM feed or SoundCloud, new episodes will no longer be added there. You'll only be able to find new episodes from the Out Chicago podcast feed. So you better make sure that you listen to that. Why don't we go to the phones? Thanks so much for hanging on there. Steve, welcome. You're on Out Chicago. Hello, Steve. Ooh, all right. Well, I think we're got a little problem with Steve. Maybe we can try him again. Steve, hello. Are you there? All right, Steve.
I was going to tell people, if they do go to Right Chicago, go there, get there early.
So you can get a seat.
Oh my God, it is a very popular show.
Yes, otherwise you will be standing there for a while. So in case you have been under a rock, the election is in 2 days. I believe a record 76 million people have already voted across the country, which was half of the number of votes in the last election, the 2020 election.
Yes, it is. To me, enthusiasm, as we talked about earlier, I know people, that vote for Ding Dong. They have their own brand of enthusiasm. But to me, if there's enthusiasm, that bodes well for us.
It's true. It's true. It's true. And I want to remind everybody also, since we are the big LGBTQ show, let's just remind a little bit of people about Vice President Harris's LGBTQ track record. Harris supports legislation to ban discrimination against LGBTQ people in education, healthcare, housing, and other areas. She has condemned state laws restricting gender transition care, sports participation, participation in public bathroom use for transgender people. She has supported LGBTQ rights for more than 2 decades and began officiating at same-sex weddings 2 decades ago. She's on our side, friends. Just to remind them. I think we're going to get back to the phones, and I think we got things worked out. We had some technical snafus. And Steve, are you there? You're on Out Chicago.
Yes, hopefully it works this time.
There we go. There we go.
Hello, Steve.
So, yes, thank you for taking my call. So I wanted to make a couple of points. And yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, there are a cadre of Americans who simply don't recognize anything's going on until the car is going off the cliff, as opposed to, recognizing that you have a responsibility as a citizen of this country to engage with the political process and be involved. And not wait until it's at your front door and, oh, my God, what happened to our democracy? Yep. Wasn't anybody taking care of it? But you were supposed to take care of it. That's part of your responsibility. So, I don't know how much more we can do to get this across, who these people are who are undecided.
Oh, yeah.
Will decide this election.
They are attention seekers right now is what I'm thinking they are.
Or could they be...
in the world could be undecided.
Or could they be former Trump voters who have voted Republican their whole lives, okay, and who just are trying to come to grips with not voting, hence the commercials that you've seen.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, a lot of us who do this for a living feel like there are a lot of women who are married to men, and they're somewhere in some suburban MAGA central, but they don't view MAGA in the way that their husband does. Or they may have voted for Donald Trump 4 years ago or 8 years ago, but now it's a bridge too far. And when they go into that voting booth, nobody's going to know how they voted.
Nope.
Their husband may assume, their neighbors may assume, they may have a big MAGA sign out in front, but nobody's going to know. The great thing about American politics. So, for us, how much better do they want it to get? We just had the inflation report. We are now at 2.1% inflation. If it drops any further, that means we are in deflationary times. That means that prices are dropping too much. So when they talk to you about all these things, respond. What do you want? Unemployment is great. GDP is good. The inflation rate is down. What do you want?
Well, they have blinders on. They're not paying attention to what's really going on. They're just listening to the rhetoric from their, ding-dong candidate. And I feel the same way. It's like, are you looking at what's going on here in the country? Our economy is doing great. The crime they keep talking about is going down. It's a fact. The crime has gone down.
Exactly.
Hopefully, the majority of the people will.
And we are the economists had a great piece this week. We are the envy of the Western world coming out of COVID because how much we've grown. And you've just got to confront them because they believe that because they're paying more for a hamburger today than they were in 2020, that means the economy's falling apart.
I know.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's not the way economics work.
No.
We all pay more. We had a time where inflation skyrocketed post-COVID. Okay, but that's not the measure. The measure is how much are you making today versus what you were making in 2020 in terms of what you're paying for things.
True.
That's right.
And is it moving in the right direction? And lastly, your friend Trump is the one who's talking about tariffs. That's a tax on you, inflationary pressure.
Yep. And Steve, thank you so much for giving us a call today.
Steve.
And thank you for
Hopefully we'll have
your
good
expertise.
news next week.
Hey, we actually have a special guest star who's calling into the show right now. I believe, is that Patty Vasquez calling in from Wisconsin? Hi Patty.
Yes, Hi. Thank you so much for playing that. Hi, you guys.
Hi.
It's so good to hear you. And I want to extend my condolences to you, Scott. I'm so sorry.
Oh, thank you.
It was beautiful to hear.
Thank you.
To hear you share that. And thank you for sharing that piece because I'm heading in to talk to some students from University of Wisconsin Whitewater. Mm-hmm. I've been door knocking every day since Tuesday. We've done about over 500 doors.
No, great.
There are folks. I just want you to know. I want you to know about the energy and the passion that people are flying in from all over the country to Wisconsin. There were 4 people that came in last night from California, from San Jose. There are folks. Everyone's coming to Wisconsin. It's intense and exciting.
Yes.
And we've been on like country roads and dirt roads, and it's amazing. There's good things happening in Wisconsin, you guys.
Well, I know. Well, and there's actually going to be some good things happening in Elmhurst on Election Day because you're going to be there.
Yes.
You're going to be there at the Bricklayers Union Hall in Elmhurst from 2 to 5. I'm not sure. I'm sure you'll probably be sticking around because if I know you like a good discussion and observations. But that's going to be happening at the Bricklayers Union Hall in Elmhurst, and you're going to be there. Joan's going to be there from 2 to 5. Patty's going to be there. Richard Shue, whole bunch of folks.
Ken Mejia, one of your regular fill-in hosts and guest hosts.
I know he's going to be on the second hour.
Patty, quickly because we don't have a up against a break. But what are you feeling when you're knocking on those doors? What are you
really
coming away with? Are you?
I'm coming away with, and there are some Republicans who are like just tired of this.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
To your point about Republicans showing up in Wisconsin, they're finding that there are Republicans who didn't vote for Trump the last 2 times, didn't vote at all, and are showing up. So I think that's in some of the numbers that you're seeing, and I think you're right about that, Alice. I really do.
Well, Patty, thank you so much for being up in Wisconsin and doing all the groundwork up there. We can't wait to see you on Tuesday at the Bricklayers Union Hall in Elmhurst. Have a great day. Stay dry. I hope it doesn't rain on you today.
Oh, it's too late.
Okay.
Thanks for your work, Patty. We appreciate it so much.
Bye. Love you more than my panties, Patty Vasquez.
And he loves those.
All righty. Hey, listen, we've got to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's the second hour of Out Chicago and our friend Judy Gold. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
Welcome back to the second hour of Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, rolling along, getting riled up. We are voting. We have voted.
We voted.
The lines are longer, and we love that.
That's a good sign.
There we are on the size queen. It's great. There we are. So make sure you're getting out there to vote in case you've been under a rock. It's within 48 hours. And you know what? I couldn't think of a better person to process this whole dumpster fire of a situation than Emmy award-winning Judy Gold, who's going to be at the Venus Cabaret Theater November 8th through the 10th. And joining us now is none other than Judy Gold.
Hey, Judy. Welcome.
Hi, I love that intro with the double voices.
I know. It's Judy's show.
It's Judy's show.
Judy, you're welcome. How did I do?
You're welcome.
Judy Gold, how are you holding up?
I wanna kill myself.
So do I. Yeah, it's a lot going on right now, huh?
It's a lot. Okay, so first of all, if you hear noise in the background, I am on the same street as I think it's mile 23 of the New York City Marathon. So there's a lot of people screaming outside.
Okay,
great.
So that's that. Mm-hmm. But I can't take the stress. I can't take it. I'm just like, I can't sleep. I don't think, and I'm getting really aggravated at I really don't want to alienate people, but I have to. Mm-hmm. Like, my relatives who I know some are voting for, I'm not allowed to curse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever his name is, I can't remember.
We call him Ding Dong here, so
Right. Or Kotek's ear. I mean, what was that thing on his ear? Seriously,
I don't know.
No doctor. Okay.
Yeah.
And put a bandage on like that. Okay.
And it magically appeared.
And what former president does not have? You're right. A medical person come out and absolutely explain what injury he sustained in an assassination attempt.
Anyway.
Right. We don't have his medical records.
No.
We don't have his tax returns. But yeah, he's going to save the democracy. Okay. Anyway, so I know some people who are voting, but worse. I have people I know who I can't mention who went to the rally at MSG, and I literally cannot talk to them. You want to know why?
Why?
Because this is gay. This is a gay show, and I'm going to tell you, I have spent my entire adult life fighting for equality, to live with dignity, the rights of my family. I protested. I fought for women's rights, over autonomy over their own bodies. I have showed up to marches and rallies and protests, and my kids too. I brought my kids along.
Sure.
And these people who have never had to have anyone stand in front of the Supreme Court to fight for their rights, equal rights to live without being humiliated. Okay?
Yep.
They have never they've never marched, they've never protested, but they show up to that.
Yeah.
But you don't show up for your loved ones.
Yeah.
Who's who are really in peril right now. Like I don't. So unforgiving. And I felt like this with W. I remember feeling like, how can you vote for someone who doesn't think that my family is equal to your family or as valid as your family? But this is even worse.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is even worse because we fought and we got there, and now you're taking it away, and it's disgusting.
Judy, are these people LGBTQ, or are they Jews that are thinking he's going to be better for Israel?
No, it's neither. Neither. I think one of them, I think a lot of it is immigration, pocketbook. I'm a white male, and I don't feel like, it's like these young white males. They don't feel like they feel like they're the other, because in the last, 15, 20 years, maybe
if
20,
that,
but if that, they have seen the rise of diversity in politics.
Yep. Minorities,
other
women.
voices being heard.
Yep.
Yes. People's voices being heard and taken seriously. And they're like, wait, what about me? Well, you've had it handed to you for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And look what you did with it.
Yep.
So too bad. Now you know what it feels like to be one of us, and this is how you behave? I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, gun control.
Oh, yeah. No, Judy, I've got a question for you, too, because, right now, I know the Lincoln Project has been, they've been great with, putting out all these ads and everything, and there's that one ad right now that's focusing on women and voting, and, your husband doesn't need to know, and what happens in that booth is just between you.
What is it, 1920?
Yes! The whole time I'm like, what? Who are these women? I'm like, look, what you are doing right now is you are just, you are perpetuating this whole dependency sort of thing, where there are women out there who have chosen to go to college for their MRS instead of an education. There are women out there who have chosen to they are undereducated, they are underskilled, and now they are trapped in these marriages and they feel that they have to do this. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I think that's just scratching the surface, what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think this whole idea of, I can't tell my husband this, I'm going to keep what I do, my opinions. It's so it's not even that they're uneducated. It's that it's this role situation where women who are opinionated are not feminine. Women who do things on their own, that takes away the power of the guy and these gender roles, and it's I'm going to do what I want to do, but I'm not. It's so off-put. I mean,
it's weird. I can't wrap my brain around it.
Those people exist.
Yeah,
those people exist.
Oh, I know. I taught their kids. I taught their children when I lived in Memphis. I remember for some reason, I would go as a teacher, we had to go and support, athletic things. It was kind of expected of us as our job. So I would go to the events that nobody went to. So I'd go to the cheerleading competitions and I would go to that and I would sit and chat with their moms. I'm like, oh my gosh, did you know that this kid of one of these students, she probably had 14 names, Mary Morgan, Margaret, Mary, it was the South. And they're like, oh, she's going to make such a great wife one day. And I'm like, or she's going to be a great sportscaster. Do you know how many, like, she knows every statistic, every this, blah, blah, blah. But they're being raised as this way of, like, you be subservient to the man.
But, you know,
and mind-boggling.
That this is a woman's place.
Yeah.
But, you know, I watched CBS Sunday morning this morning, and they did a whole thing on Williamsburg and how they have these people who, you know, walk around living as if it is 18 or 17, whatever.
Right. I watched it. Yeah. I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, you saw it.
Yeah.
And were you not shocked about Mary Washington saying about a woman's body was her own. Their medical care was within the family. It was no one's business whether they had an abortion or not. I mean, we are going where this is like one step or a few steps below Sharia law, what is going on here. And the fact that doctors, have to leave Texas to go learn procedures that are part of becoming a doctor because they won't allow this. I mean, what you're screwing with women's health. This is how you're going to get power.
And you know
taking rights away from women.
I agree.
Telling gay people that they're go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that I think that this is where the line has been crossed. Even if you're a Republican woman, a suburban woman, you voted with your husband because he always told you, economically, honey, for us, it's going to help us if you vote for. It's going to better for us economically. But this is a whole different ballgame now because there is no political line for people that need abortion care, need reproductive care. This is every woman has had to deal with it, and women have fought for this their entire lives. Grandmothers that have grandkids that may have been longtime Republicans now realize that their daughter is in a situation that they as a child were in, but thankfully 50 years ago it was changed by law. This is what is to me going to be the deciding factor in this election, that these women are going to say no.
Well, and I wanted...
And also...
go ahead,
go. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, they last week, 50-year anniversary of a woman being able to get a credit card without her husband or a male's signature, co-signer.
Yeah.
I mean, 50 years ago, I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, this is in my lifetime.
Yes.
It couldn't get a loan, couldn't get a credit card, couldn't get a mortgage, couldn't be pregnant at work. Like, do you realize that, in 50 years how far we've come? And the gay community, look what we've accomplished.
Yes.
And yet you're going to take that, you're going to take away that progress so that you can have power and we can become a Christo-fascist country. No, do you understand? And as a Jew, I'm just going to say something as a Jewish person.
Sure.
I just got back from Israel.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, I want to hear about that.
Yeah. It was amazing. And you walk around Israel. It's sad because they want peace. They all want peace. And that this is what people in this country do not understand. And they want peace and they want the hostages home. And you know what? A majority of them hate Netanyahu.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, and don't like the way he is handling this situation. Why? Why does that mean that Israel doesn't have a right to exist? Why does that mean that every Jew should be attacked or vilified? We don't all think alike. It's just like in this country, you're going to blame every single American for the things that Trump has done. It is this anti-Semitism. And there's a lot of Jews voting for Trump because they think he's good for Israel. Well, you know what? As much as you hate the progressives who are truly anti-Semitic, they are, not only anti-Zionist, but they are, I'm sorry, I have to tell you that a lot of them are really kind of anti-Semitic. But they have that on the right, too. The right is racist and anti-Semitic, too. So stop acting like Trump is better for Israel. Trump is not better for anything.
And Judy,
anything.
I agree. How do they square these Nazi-type comments and his love for Hitler? I've been thinking about it. Yes, a lot of Jews are saying, I'm voting because of Israel. How do you square those comments about Hitler when, as a Jew, and say that he's okay, saying that he loves their generals and Hitler did some good things?
Ellen,
yeah.
You're asking the wrong. I don't understand it. Whatever you say, we could say on this side. Yeah. He's in bed with Putin. Mm-hmm. He's in bed with the biggest anti-Semites in the world.
Yes.
Leaders of nations that hate Jews, and yet he's going to negotiate. And look. No candidate is perfect by any stretch of the imagination. He's beyond. He is. First of all, he's a felon. He's a sexual assaulter. He's a rapist.
Yep.
He is a liar.
Narcissist.
He behaves. But the way, he's jerking off a microphone.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And that's okay.
I know.
Yeah.
That's okay because he's gonna get rid of the migrants. Are you crazy?
No, it's okay because eggs are $4.59 and they want them to be $2.59. So that's what they're basing it on.
Yeah. Well, then go to Kamala, who's planning on doing a whole introducing legislation to prevent to limit price gouging on groceries.
She's going to try. She's going to try.
I know, but okay. So look, you are coming to
let's talk about happy things, Judy. Let's talk about your shows
this weekend. Look, because we all know all of the horrible things that Ding Dong has said.
Right.
Ding Dong is just if I really want to call him fire truck face. And if you know
I want to call him things I'm not allowed to say.
Yes, that is right. That's why I use the word fire truck. I use the word fire truck because it begins with F and ends in UCK and it's one word.
Yeah.
So
I like that fire truck. Okay.
There we are. So, so regardless of what the outcome, we may not know when you get here. How is that going to play with your show?
Do you have two sets ready to go?
What's going on?
One if we have a first woman president, and one if we have Ding Dong. How you looking at? How you planning?
No, I'm not. I don't write in hypotheticals. So, I will definitely be discussing the current state of affairs. But I do think. Don't you kind of think we're going to have some indication?
Yes.
I don't think it's.
I hope so.
Yes. Yes.
I think we'll know by Thursday. Everyone's like, I don't know. I don't believe the media anymore.
I don't
believe
either.
Anything they say.
Judy, I think we're going to know Tuesday night. I'm going on record now. I think that the women in this country and the youth in this country are going to come out and surprise the living daylights out of every pollster and media person that's been pontificating about this dead heat. And you're going to see that America is turning fascism away and turning him away. That's my hope. We'll talk next week and see what happens.
I can't wait. I can't wait for it to happen.
I can't wait for it to happen, too.
Well, we can't wait for you to finally be back in Chicago. I could not think of a better person to go into like a small room and to process all of this stuff with.
I can't wait. I love small rooms like that.
I know. And but the thing that's so wonderful about you, I loved your book. Yes, I can say that.
Yes,
when they come for the comedians, we are all in trouble. It's all about free speech. I love the fact that you are unafraid to take on everybody who challenges free speech. And you are a smart person who understands, yes, there are consequences for my actions, for my words, and I can say these words and be held accountable for them, whatever, but I can say them.
Yes.
And that is one of the things that I've always loved about you, even from you sliding in on your little pin curl. It's
Judy.
And Judy, I love your podcast. I look forward to it every single week. And
thank you.
And Robin Tyler, honestly, I wasn't as familiar with her.
God.
She is fantastic. I love. Is there a part 3 coming? Did you hint?
There's a part 3 with amazing dish about politics. And really, she's amazing. And so she's my only 3-parter I've ever done.
And she'll drop tonight or tomorrow morning, that third part.
Yeah, I think it's to Monday night.
Monday
they
night.
drop.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wait for them every week, and I really enjoy it.
Thanks, Ellen.
It's really great.
Yeah.
Really, keep that up. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, we can't wait to see you this coming weekend at the Venus Cabaret Theater, November 8th through the 10th. For tickets, go to mercurytheaterchicago.com. You can click on a little Venus Cabaret thing. The room is gorgeous. It's fabulous. It's intimate. It's wonderful. It's going to be fun.
I'm hoping to be there
Ruckus.
Friday night.
Yes, me
You
too.
better get your ass there.
I will. I will be there. I got to figure out how. Yes, I'll be there. I've already have it up.
You need to get your lesbian ass there.
I
Yeah.
will. It's been on my calendar since the day I heard about it months ago. So
Same.
Okay, good.
I'll be there. I'll be there,
Same.
Judy.
But Judy Gold, thank
All
you for
right.
being a voice of reason.
Thanks
a voice
for having me.
We sure do love
Always
you.
welcome here.
Judy Gold, there we go. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
next week.
Thanks, Judy.
Go Kamala.
Go
Bye.
Kamala!
All right. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be speaking with our good buddy Ken Mejia Beal. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
I'm David Dodd with the Chicago Black Gay Men's Caucus. Welcome back to Out Chicago on WCPT 820.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Vanilla Miller rolling along. Judy Gold.
Judy Gold.
Judy Gold.
She's gold. She's comedy gold, and she's political
comedy
gold.
I love her. I love her.
I love
Emmy
her
Award
too.
winning. Emmy Award winner.
Emmy Award winner. And
There we
I
are.
mean, and you sit down with her for just to hang. You're laughing the whole time.
Of course you are.
I mean,
Can
she
you get a
is
word in
truly
edgewise?
funny. Yes, occasionally.
Occasionally.
Yeah,
there we are.
do.
It's
we
great.
do.
I know she's wonderful. I could just every time I think of Judy Gold, being in a room with Judy Gold. Do you remember the Memorex commercial with the guy sitting in front of
His
the
hair
stereo
getting blown
and the
away?
hair getting
Yeah.
blown away, just
Yeah.
sitting there?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel like you're like, it's the Hurricane Judy. Coming your way.
That's what makes her great.
I know, and she's going to be in a very small, intimate venue.
Yes,
And
I'm
just
looking forward to
so great.
going.
I love that space
Yeah.
so much.
I've never been in this space.
Oh,
I know.
I did. I had a show there briefly, and then they canceled it. And they moved. That's another story. Hey, listen.
Yeah, I'm listening.
So, in case you didn't realize, November 5th is election day. It is. Yeah.
Is that happening already?
It's happening already. You know what? And we want to see you at our election night watch party at the Bricklayers Union Hall in Elmhurst. WCPT is broadcasting live from 2 to 10 p.m. Come out and see Joan Esposito between 2 and 5, Patty Vasquez and Richard Chu, and all of their special guests. The event is hosted by Bricklayers Union ADC 1 of Illinois, Union Proud Warrior, State Representatives Diane Blair Sherlock and Ann Stava Murray, County Board member Liz Chaplin, and Victory Fund radio host Ken Mejia Beal, who, by the way, just happens to be right here.
I am so happy to be here with both of you.
We're happy to have you here. Yes,
It's
the
so
both
good
of
to
us.
see you.
This never happened.
I know. It's wonderful that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, of
You
course.
have been working with Victory Fund.
Yeah,
throughout
so this is my first year on the campaign committee.
Right, yeah.
And
How's that been going?
what we get to do is pick LGBTQ candidates from all over the country, and not just pick them, but help them with resources, help them with knocking doors, give them groundwork, give them a platform, and it is really so rewarding. You have to- and sometimes I'm on the calls, I'm like, I don't know how the hell I got here, but I'm happy to be here.
Right? Well, it's that whole idea, that notion of, representation matters.
It does.
And if we are going to be a democracy of the people, by the people, for the people, we have to make sure that all the people are represented. And that includes LGBTQ folks.
That is my mantra.
Yes.
Everyone should be included. When we look at any form of government, you should be able to see all kinds of folks, race, gender, I hate saying class, but
economic status.
Economic, thank you. I haven't had coffee yet. Economic status, but everyone should be included, and that includes orientation, because the LGBTQ community, we do have certain things that are a little bit different, and we have to speak to that. So it's important that we're in the room.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the great works that the Victory Fund does.
Yes.
Is like helping nurture those candidates to go on to hold office.
Absolutely. I was a Victory Fund candidate myself. So
come on, girl.
Yeah.
I'm loving that. You're just here to spice up your life.
I am.
Ken is wearing Spice Girls socks right now.
First album. I love the
And
Spice
he smells
Girls.
delicious.
He always does.
Oh, I got my
Always
hug. I got a nice smell,
I
too.
know. I just want to.
I like people that smell good.
That is a huge thing for me.
Me too.
Like, please smell good.
Okay, wait. A quick little pause.
With you.
What is your go-to? Because I have a little regime.
Oh,
I didn't hug you, Scott.
It's a lot. I love anything by Dolce. I love Versace Arrows.
I do too now.
I love oh my god, I love a lot.
What kind of notes are you mostly?
Cedar.
A cedar note kind of gal?
Okay.
I love cedar. Cedar wood is yes.
And here's the key to wearing it. Because some men throw it on like they're taking a shower.
No.
And I know. And,
No.
and I'm not going to mention names in case they're listening, but just you want to smell it when you get close.
Yes.
Not when you're 4 feet away.
No, correct.
You don't want to get slimed with it.
You want it to draw you in.
You want
just a
exactly.
little
You
bit
know
like,
how to wear that. I'm telling you right now. But I used to wear cologne, women's cologne, of course, and then I had a roommate, and the cologne was so intense.
Yeah.
I thought, what if people think that mine is like that? And I never wore it again.
Oh,
well, it's like I love a lot of the fragrances by Dior, but for some reason Dior doesn't love me back. So it all.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I love that we're having this conversation.
We are. Look,
It doesn't work for me.
It's our show. We can say whatever we want.
We need to take a personal time out. If something's going to bring us joy, like smelling good. And hints on how to smell good.
Yeah,
That's right.
Because we're going to be sweating the next couple of days.
We
will
be.
So me personally,
Yeah.
I'm a layer of fragrances. I am a huge proponent of Origin's Ginger Souffle Body Lotion.
Oh
my God, it's so good.
I love ginger.
Oh, yes, but the actual body, it's a whipped body souffle.
Say that again.
Whipped.
There you go.
Body souffle. It goes on so nicely. It absorbs into your skin, especially as we're coming into the colder months.
Yeah.
It's a lovely fragrance of ginger.
Yeah.
And then I layer on top of that Mistral's bourbon and vanilla.
Wow, I love those two.
Me too. And then to go with the ginger gives you a spicy, warm thing. See, I'm a kid.
I need you to send
I'm a
this
girl
to
from
me.
the 80s. So like Calvin Klein's Obsession for Men.
Got it.
I mean, I think it was definitely subliminal advertising for me being like, oh wait, I do have an obsession for men, there we are. But it was a big power 80s fragrance, like a polo, like I loved all that. So this is kind of like my answer into that.
Okay.
Anyway, there we are, in case you're wondering what we all smell like.
Yes, I love that.
That is what's going on
My
here.
dermatologist will not allow me to wear anything that has fragrance when it comes to I have to, wear a fragrance.
Well, you're not
That
supposed
happens,
to.
Yeah.
Actually, it's better for
It's
you.
not good
it's
for your
much better
skin.
for you. But
vanity takes over.
It does.
Yeah, because
And why
I've
not?
been around too many. Look, I've been Chicago Storefront Theater. In the early days, I encountered a lot of people who smelled like a chili dog, and I did not want to do that.
Me
so
either.
Anyway,
We're on the same page. But back to the election.
Yeah.
So you're out there. What are you feeling right now?
It changes every hour, so
Yeah,
I'm
me
feeling
too.
very optimistic.
Me too.
This hour.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna watch something that's gonna make me not optimistic.
I know.
I'm going to spiral. I actually have a 2-hour meeting with my therapist tomorrow. We meet every Monday for an hour. We're extending that because
well, no, but but I'm so glad that because this is like your wheelhouse. You are a creature of politics. You have been in the you were the former chair of the Democratic Party of DuPage.
Yeah.
You are now with the Victory Fund. And even somebody who is so steeped in it, you are taking time out for self-care, which I think is a very important thing
to
remind people.
Even if that means not watching any television until Tuesday Sunday night.
Look, I am a huge proponent. Look, because we have a 24-hour news network,
not healthy.
It does not mean that you need to watch it all 24 hours or even listen to it.
No, it's not helpful.
It is to say it's not helpful. It's just you're just gonna go kooky pants.
Yeah, because
You will. But
we're looking for we're looking for reaffirmation that it's going to be okay. But they're not going to do that because they want to make a story.
They want to make a story, but I think the real story here is that Vice President Harris is, in my opinion, the second most highly qualified person ever run for president after former
Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Here we go again.
She held every office.
So I am hopeful that America has learned a valuable lesson.
I feel the same way.
I am hopeful that we won't do it again, but not going to go down the rabbit hole. If we do, I have seen the strength of the American people. I've seen the way we come together in the face of adversity. I think if God forbid it goes wrong, we are going to make it. Okay. But I don't think we have to worry about that. I think we're going to be okay.
On just
I gotta give both.
I understand.
I know. I'm like, I have hours of, and then the less television I watch, the better I feel.
It's true.
And then this morning, of course, I'm always, the CBS This Morning and CNN on the way in, and then I'm all rattled again.
I watched Family Guy before I got here.
Oh,
there you go.
Perfect.
I am ready for this.
Perfection. Yeah, no, again, I think over the next couple of days, especially, when it comes to 24-hour news, here's the deal. There's usually about 3 stories, and they cover the same 3 stories all day long.
Yeah.
And nothing happens.
No.
There's not going to be a big change. So if you need to scratch that itch, watch something in the morning.
Yes.
And then watch something later at night, or
See
maybe like in the afternoon, and then put it away for the night.
Smart.
And if there are people that you really do find that you trust or that you enjoy hearing their perspective, because you have to remember that a lot of people on these news networks are not journalists. They are pundits.
Correct.
That's right.
They are just smart people, and there are people that not so smart people.
Correct.
Yeah.
But even like my beloved MSNBC, I love it, but I also am very well aware of how left-leaning they are. Rather.
Correct.
So I think it's a good. Make sure that you are taking a pause.
You have
going out and taking a walk.
Take a walk. Watch Family Guy. Take a bubble bath.
And it's not all bad that they're saying how close it is, because we want people to know how important every vote is.
And I think that's what happened in 2016.
Me
I remember watching the news, and they were like, Hillary's got it. Hillary's got it.
That's right. Yep.
And so I knew Hillary was not going to win in August of that year.
Really?
And I knew it. So we won't get into this because we don't have time, but the one thing that I said is nothing she said during that debate, either one, could be put into a soundbite. And I said she's losing people because she's talking to folks like we're at that level, and I've been to America. So I think going into that, I knew it was going to be a bad night. I just didn't know how bad. I didn't think we would lose the whole Rust Belt. I didn't see that coming. But moving ahead to now, I think things are going well. I think Vice President Harris is she has soundbite. She's doing the podcasting. She's doing SNL. I think things are going
I do too.
well, and I feel good.
And lessons have been learned.
Yes.
And also,
yes. And they're telling people, sorry, because I lost track. But in 2016, sorry, Scott, in 2016, they were like, she's got it. Now we're like, it's super close. We need you to vote. Right. And I think that's the difference.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of messaging that she is getting out there is that message that is of optimism.
Yes.
That is of inclusivity. I love the fact that Governor Walz is out there, and finally,
he's great.
Finally, men are realizing that women's health care is also part of their things. Yes. Because the last time I checked, women don't get pregnant on their own,
Right.
And that is a huge thing. And people, but I've heard many testimonials of people of young men who have lost their wives because they did not receive the necessary health care. And now they are a single parent of children because their wife died, and I think that is one of the biggest things is that we have to realize that for men to wake up. I say this every time that like they're talking about like Kamala Harris is a good role model for young girls, or any powerful woman is a good model for young girls. Yes,
everyone.
but it's for everyone, because it is more important for young boys and for young men to realize that there is nothing that women can't do, and that is one of the things that I feel that needs to be taken home.
Yes,
I got on a soapbox.
Because you're 100% right, and I think that's where when we get into the downfalls of Democratic messaging, I think we as Democrats like to separate everyone. It's like no. When things are good for women, they're good for everybody. When things are good for the LGBTQ community, they're good for everybody. Black, Latino, like you don't have to segment it out. When we do right by one segment of the American population, we do right by the entire American population. So we have to keep pushing that narrative. And I think Vice President Harris and her team have done that.
I think they have, but there's one thing that still remains sadly true in this country, and that's misogyny.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I know.
And there are still men out there who feel that my
brother.
That I just don't know a woman is up for the challenge. And that's very real. But
I know.
There's more
I think
of us, hopefully, than
think that is going away. I think that is that tends to be more of a boomer ideology.
It's a generational thing.
It's a generational thing. I think the younger folks are really on board. They're realizing that A, gender is a construct, and just B, that given opportunity and a chance, anybody can succeed. And I think that, and I hear you, because I know my brother, we've gone round and round. He doesn't believe that women should get paid the same. He doesn't believe it's because they make babies, and it's so weird. It's very strange.
That's a whole separate
I know,
show.
it's a whole separate thing that's going on there.
Okay.
But, hey, listen, we do need to take a break. Can you stick around for a little bit?
You betcha.
Hey, but I do want to remind you, because Ken Mejia Beal is one of the amazing hosts who's going to be there at the election night watch party at the Bricklayers Union Hall in Elmhurst.
Yes.
To attend the event, please register at facebook.com/WCPT820/events, or you can text us at 773-763-9278, and we'll send you the link right there. Again, it's going to be from 2 to 10 on Election Day, November 5th, at the Bricklayers Union Hall, which is located at 660 North Industrial Drive near York and 290 in Elmhurst. And we really hope to see you there.
Do you think we'll know Tuesday night? What's your feeling?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope so too. But you know what? We are going to take a break, and when we come back, it is the final thrilling show-stopping moments about Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
Welcome back to Out Chicago on Chicago's Progressive Talk. Can I get you another Bellini?
Oh my God, yes, Stephanie Miller. Give us a vat of Bellinis. An IV of Bellinis, please, for the next 48 hours or so. That'd be great. Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff and Ella Miller. We are joined by our good friend Ken Mejia Beal. He is going to be one of the hosts.
Yes.
In case you haven't heard, WCPT, we are hosting an election night watch party at the Bricklayers Union Hall in Elmhurst. We're going to be broadcasting live from 2 to 10 p.m. You can come out and see Joan Esposito between 2 and 5, Patty Vasquez and Richard Chu and all of their special guests. And again, just want to thank all of the people who are hosting it. Bricklayers Union ATC 1 of Illinois, Union Proud Warrior, State Reps Diane Blair Sherlock and Anastasia Murray, County Board Member Liz Chaplin, and of course Ken Mejia Beal,
and Clerk of the Circuit Court Candace Adams.
Oh, and Candace Adams, thank you so much.
No,
I got on my little fact sheet.
No, you're fine.
Thank you so much. Yeah. But just to attend, go over to our Facebook page at WCPT.
We want to
click on the events, and you can just register there, or you can text us at 773-763-9278, and we'll send you all the info.
Yes, please. We want to see you.
There we are. All right, so I think that I'm so happy this election's coming to a close.
Thank God.
Thank God. But also, I do want to just throw it out there for later on. I liked the fact that we only knew Kamala for 100 days. I think we need to shorten our election.
We need to.
We need to, because it's driving America crazy.
I agree.
It's too much.
And the money
it's too
that's
much.
spent.
And
it's outrageous.
What a crime. I'm sorry. This country needs to reform the election laws. It is ridiculous.
I think a 2-month cycle would be great. We do the primary 1 month, and then whoever's left, they campaign for 4 more weeks, and then we're done.
I think it's great, especially because the money that has been raised, is
criminal.
Obscene.
It really is.
And if we think about talking about, like, we need to fix the economy, we need to make sure that there's housing, we need to, like, blah, blah, blah. But all that's, imagine all of that money that was raised to go to these things. Could have been done that.
To education, to helping poor people.
Yeah,
I agree.
all of that stuff. Sorry.
I agree.
No, I see.
We need a whole reform of our election cycle. Like, whole reform is too much. Mm-hmm. It's too much. And we are one of the only countries in the world where people are constantly voting. So I would love if we could get on some kind of synchronized system, because we're voting for this right now. And as we're voting for this, you have municipal candidates knocking doors to get ready for April. It's overkill. Like, everybody is always running for something. It is exhausting.
Yeah.
And if you're running, you can't do anything. So we gotta do better.
Yep. Then thank you.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It is a lot going on there.
Yes.
And it's a lot. And we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that I want to say to people, like, we're joking about smelling good and, like, taking care, but, like, really,
you have to
take care of yourself. There are moments where you just need to step back.
And how will you take care of yourself this week?
So I'm going to my therapist on Monday. Mm-hmm. Thank you, therapy. I am going to see Kathy Griffin on Saturday in Denver. So I'm going to Denver.
All right.
Yeah. And we all know what happens in Denver. And
Dynasty.
Lots of pot. Lots of pot. Come on, guys, go with me.
Cheaper pot.
Yes, cheaper
what
pot.
happens in Denver.
So lots of pot.
We have
Kathy
lots
Griffin.
here, but it's cheaper there.
But no, you have to. And I've been taking care of myself. I've been to Vegas in the middle of this. I've been to.
Now tell me about what do you do in Vegas to take care of yourself? As someone that doesn't love Vegas, is there music you see, or do you like to gamble? I'm just curious.
Went gambling. I went to Lisa Vanderpump's restaurant.
Okay.
Wow.
It was.
Well, you're a Housewives fan.
It was delicious food, but I've tried to, during the cycle, I've been to 18 different cities over the course of the last year.
Wow.
For election purposes.
Good.
So I have been trying to take 1 weekend a month to go somewhere, not focus on politics, and just having a good time.
Good for you.
And relaxing. So I'm doing my best to stay.
Yeah. So we. Sorry, I've got a lot of emotions coming up right now.
Oh boy!
It's been a weird week, and it's been a very weird. I lost my friend, and it's just been a very odd time right now. And I want us to. I hate to sound Pollyannish, but I love to sound Pollyannish. I want to cultivate enthusiasm. We have to be excited about this. I want us to remember, like, the 100 days ago when President Biden stepped aside. He said, "This is not the right choice for America," and he's so lovely, like in a really generous gesture, just stepped out and endorsed Kamala Harris for president right away. And then we need to remember the joy and the enthusiasm and the excitement about continuing this democratic experiment that we are in right now. And yes, we have to remember the reasons why we are panicking, as Shariba Rivers reminded us earlier in the show. If you missed it, you gotta get the podcast. Just go to Out Chicago. But we also have to keep our heads lifted to the promise of America. And what I really want to do, since we played the performance piece of Shariba Rivers from Right Club to Chicago, doing Panic, I thought it would be a really great way to kind of dovetail the whole thing. I want to remind everybody about the vision of Amanda Gorman's poem, The Hill We Climb, that she delivered at the inauguration for President Biden. My words are escaping me, so I'm going to let an incredible poet take it. So this is Amanda Gorman, The Hill We Climb.
Dr. Biden, Madam Vice President, Mr. Emhoff, Americans, and the world. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace. In the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is hours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gaze not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious. Not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it in its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So, while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the West. We will rise from the wind-swept Northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked South. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
I mean,
only if we're brave enough to be it.
Like that
still sends chills down my spine.
Yes, I mean that. I think is the spirit that we need to be going through this week. That we need to be going to the polls to cast our votes. To remember to be that light. To be brave enough to be it. That is my biggest wish that we have over the next couple of days and the next couple of years. You know,
forever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I'm not allowing myself to go to the joyous place that I will be at if we have our first woman president. And that, during when Hillary was running, that was like my mother, who's gone now, but she was a big Hillary supporter. For women to see another woman, and it's not lost on any of us, but I think after what happened with Hillary, we're all just kind of tempering it.
Yep.
But the joy that will be there, I mean, there will be tears Tuesday night.
Joy rising.
There will be tears, and hopefully there'll be tears of joy.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's so funny. I haven't even registered the fact.
I know.
Of that.
No, because there's so much at stake that it's just bigger.
Yeah.
Which is our democracy.
Huge.
Yeah.
Which is our future. A fascist dictator type or Kamala Harris. I mean, that, no one's even talking about the first woman president anymore. We're just talking about getting someone elected like Kamala that's going to save our democracy.
And can I just say, because I'm a proud Democrat, but at the end of the day, I hope that we can, as a nation, begin to heal. Finally begin to heal.
She's the one to do it.
Yes, she is. And every election cycle, we should not find ourselves in a position where we are right now. At the end of the day, whether it's a Democratic or a Republican, we should have the wherewithal as Americans to kind of root for the betterment of our country, regardless of who the president is. And we cannot, because of where we are right now. So we have to begin to heal that.
Well, we've got to be brave, and we have to be the light.
Yes.
There we are. Be the light.
Be the light.
As Amanda Corman said. So just a reminder, you vote. There we are. And it's the end of our show. So I want to thank everybody who helped out doing this show. I want to thank Judy Gold, Shariba Rivers. Love you. Ken Mejia Beal. Love and adore you.
Good to have you in
Make sure you go to the
Likewise.
WCPT election party. Head to WCPT's Facebook page and click on the events, and you can find all the information about that. Ellen Miller, have a great week.
Thanks, and hang in there yourself, Scott.
Thank you very much. And I am Scott Duff, and until next week, stay proud.